yogis, this is Kira from Shakti Power Yoga. Today we will be doing a routine to help you build into the strongest Chaturanga Dandasana you have ever done. So this video is designed for beginners. It's for all levels. So even if you think you can't do this, get on your mat and give it a go. I really did try to make it accessible for everyone here today. So we'll warm up now. Come onto all fours on your mat and let's start warming up with some cat-cow. So today's practice is obviously building into Chaturanga Dandasana, which means that our warm-up should reflect that end goal. So today as we go into cat-cow, we're going to focus on our hands. Spread your fingers as wide as you can and point your middle finger towards the front of the room. So everything splays out from there. And now we'll start to warm up. So from a neutral spine, we're going to inhale, come into cow, and then exhale, round the spine and find cat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look towards your feet. Inhale, tilt the pelvic bowl. Exhale, spill everything out. One more time, we'll inhale, biggest back bend yet. And exhale, round the upper back. And find neutral spine. From here, we're going to stretch out our wrists, which are very important to keep healthy for our chaturangas. So from here, we're going to take your right hand, put it palm facing up and fingers towards the left. And then just stretch into the top of that wrist. You can rock a little bit forward and backwards until you find a nice deep stretch. I like to circle around that joint. And now I'll take the other side, spreading out my right hand and left top of the hand finds the mat, fingertips facing the right. And now I'm just leaning my weight a little bit into it to stretch out that joint. And now the opposite stretch, we're going to take both of our hands one at a time and face the fingers towards the back of the room. If this is too intense of a stretch, you can do one at a time, or you can lean forward so the angle is a little bit less severe. We're trying to find a relationship with our hands, with our wrists, so that we can use it to build our chaturanga pose. And walk the hands back, facing forward. Take your knees mat width apart and drop back into a child's pose. So in child's pose, your butt reaches down towards your heels and your forehead can find the mat. Stretch long out through the fingertips. Now again, everything we do is building to that chaturanga. So here we're focusing on the elbows. So you can press the elbows out in some yoga poses. In Chaturanga and in Ashtanga Namaskara, we want to tuck the elbows in. So rotating the inside of the elbows to face each other. And you can start that practice here in child's pose. Great job. Now slide forward until you are lying on your belly. Here we're going to take a baby cobra pose, and this is going to teach us about the back bending, the slight back bending aspect of Chaturanga. So in this pose, plant your palms to the outside of the chest and reach up, strong through the back, gaze ahead. Legs stay planted on the ground. Now in your Chaturanga, you want to gaze right past the edge of the mat, and you want that opening of the chest. So come back down. We're going to take that one more time. So inhale, lift everything up, and if you want this time, you can lift the arms and work your back a little bit more. Keep the arms down if you so choose, it really doesn't matter. And exhale, find the ground. Press up through the hands, widen the knees, and find your child's pose again. Again, making sure you're broadening the upper back. And elbows are tucking in. And then walk your hands back to a kneeling position. Take the knees closer together and find tabletop. So we are going to do kind of a predecessor pose to Chaturanga. And this may be where you stay today if this is enough of a workout for you. But this is definitely a building block that everyone needs when they're trying to get into Chaturanga. So again, we're widening the fingers, take the knees hip distance apart. We are going to go into Ashtanga Namaskara from this tabletop pose. So Ashtanga means 8-limbed. So we really want to make sure the only points of contact with our mat are our chin, our chest, our hands, our knees, our feet. So if you try to start to tilt forward, you can walk the knees back a little bit. If you tilt forward, tuck the arms in, butt up into the air, and you'll find your Ashtanga Namaskara. And then slide through Baby Cobra. And then press back, Child's Pose. So that Ashtanga Namaskara is basically your Chaturanga already. We will go through and demonstrate how that Ashtanga Namaskara is typically used in a practice with some rounds of Sun Salutation C. Walk the hands up, find standing. We will do 2 rounds of Sun Salutation C and get used to Ashtanga Namaskara before we try Chaturanga. So from the top of your mat, hands out to the side, palms radiating forward. Big breath here, mountain pose. Hands come up, upward salute. And forward fold. Halfway rise. And lunge back with the right foot. You can keep the right leg lifted or you can lower down, doesn't matter. Feel a stretch here. Plant the palms and find plank pose. From plank pose, we're going to take that Ashtanga Namaskara. So the knees come down in unison with the chest. Elbows tucked, pressing into the palms. Slide through Cobra. And press back with the knees to find Downward Facing Dog. First down dog of the day, walk out the heels. feels great. And now the right leg comes forward and we find our lunge on the other side. Drop the knee if you want, stay here, whatever. And then press up into your fold. Upward salute. Palms to chest, mountain pose. Great job, we'll do that one more time. Upward salute. Forward fold. Halfway rise. Plant the palms. Step back lunge. Since some people have their knee down, we'll stay in kind of a bent over lunge here, a runner's lunge. No need to stand tall in this. And find your plank pose. Pressing evenly into the palm, gaze above the mat. Ashtanga Namaskara. Cobra. In Cobra, you want to reach the chest forward so that you're not compressing the lower back. And then with the knees, transition into downward facing dog. Right leg lunges forward. Great job. Forward fold. And roll the spine vertebrae by vertebrae until you find mountain pose. Transition down to lying on the back, however you wish. And we are going to work a little bit on stabilizing the whole spine to prepare us for Chaturanga Dandasana. So in Ashtanga Namaskara, we curved our back so that our knees and our chest were touching the ground. In Chaturanga Dandasana, you want your spine straight as an arrow. So we'll practice that with bridge pose here, not going up as high as we can in bridge pose in order to keep our lower back as straight as we can. So your ankles should barely touch your fingertips here. That's the right distance between torso and feet. And then press up into bridge pose. So in Chaturanga Dandasana, we're looking for this straight plank. Chaturanga means four-limbed, and Dandasana means staff pose. So we have a second staff pose in our practice, which is a seated position with your legs straight out in front of you. And staff is completely different, and those two poses are only related in the fact that part of your body is supposed to be straight and narrow. So Chaturanga Dandasana means that you have four limbs on the ground, your hands and your feet are on the ground, and your whole torso is straight as an arrow. So we'll roll down here and rest. And we're going to come up into bridge one more time and feel the difference in that pelvic tilt with our torso being straight as an arrow or a little bent. So we can feel that difference and bring it into Chaturanga. It's kind of an age-old thing, like having your butt stick up or sink down in a plank pose. Same goes for Chaturanga Dandasana. You have to stay straight, and it's difficult to sometimes feel what that feels like and know if you're doing it right. So come back up into bridge pose and we'll kind of test it out here. So picture your pelvic bowl and tilt it towards you, sinking down. That's not good. We don't want that in our Chaturanga Dandasana. Come back up. And now we'll overextend. So tilt in the opposite direction away from you and come into a really deep back bend. This is what we want in bridge pose usually, but it's not what we want in Chaturanga Dandasana. So find that middle ground. You can play one more time and like tilt around and try to feel what it feels like when you have that straight board, that integrity. We'll stay a moment longer just to feel the workout. 2 more breaths. And roll down. Great job. Cross the feet so you can come to a standing position. And we'll take the most commonly practiced sun salutation in your classes. So if you've ever taken a yoga class before, you've probably done this, but this time we're going to do it with a perfect Chaturanga Dandasana. So from mountain pose, bring the hands up, upward salute, and fold all the way down. Halfway lift. And step back into plank pose. Here it comes, what we've been waiting for, Chaturanga Dandasana. So, hands are directly stacked over the shoulder. Your elbows are going to stay tucked in the entire time as you lower down. Your pelvic bowl, like feel it out real quick, find middle ground, keep it at middle ground, and splay the fingers, look directly past your mat, keep the chest broad, and lower down until your elbows are at 90 degrees. And then flip the toes up and find upward dog. Great job. And tilt back and find downward facing dog. Amazing work. Step up, forward fold, and fold all the way down. And roll the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Mountain pose. We did one Surya Namaskara with a perfect Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to do 2 more and then we can cool down. So stick with me, we're almost there. Hands rise, upward salute. And fold. Halfway lift. And step back. Remember everything I told you and come into Chaturanga. Upward salute. Downward facing dog. And step up, forward fold. And vertebrae by vertebrae, find mountain pose. One more time, and then we'll cool down. Upward salute. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant the palms, step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. step up, half forward fold, and forward fold, and rise up slowly. I kind of lied there because that's our last full Surya Namaskar A, but to transition to the ground for a cool down, we're going to do the first half of another one. So rise up, upward salute, forward fold, half forward fold, step back plank. This is your last Chaturanga Dandasana. Make it the best. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and from your down dog, we're going to lower the knees, come into child's pose. Walk the hands up, sit back on your butt, slide forward so you can lay down. We're going to take a twist here, a lying twist, really restorative. So bend the knees, cross the left knee over the right, scoot the hips to the left, and then twist the knees towards the right. You can gaze straight up towards the sky or gaze left. And come out of that side, cross the legs in the opposite direction. Hips shift towards the left and twist towards the, hips twist towards the right and knees come over to the left. In your twist, your shoulders should both be on the ground at all times. So if you're twisting so far that this shoulder is lifting off the ground, you need to back your legs up so that your shoulders stay grounded. So your knees don't have to touch the ground. They probably won't if you're new, unless you're just naturally talented and flexible. So no worries if your twist isn't deep enough for your knees to touch the ground. Come back up through center, and the best part of class, we will take Shavasana. So legs out long and wide. Relax everything. Relax the muscles in the face. Relax the eyelids. Sense in your body anything that was worked or stretched today. If anything feels better or worse than when you got your mat out. Scan your body, appreciate your body, and work with it moving forward in your yoga practice. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, and roll onto your right side, using your bicep as a pillow. Rest here for a moment. Using your left hand, push up towards your seat and find a comfortable seat. Hands in prayer. Thank you for joining me today in your practice. I hope you learned something new about the form that you should bring into your Ashtanga Namaskara and Chaturanga Dandasana. Thumb knuckles to third eye. Bow forward. Namaste. Great job today.